Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blueprint with your host, Michael Della Vella. We have a great show for you today. We are going to be talking everything kitchens with Tom Caruso from Caruso Cabinets. So if your kitchen is in need of upgrading, modernizing, or a complete renovation, let's have a conversation and see what you could do with your space. So without further ado, welcome my guest, Tom Caruso. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Good morning, Michael. I'm doing great. You?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you doing this. And I think this will be an absolutely outstanding episode. We are talking about my personal favorite part of a house. I'm sure that it is everyone's. They call it the heart of the home. We're going to talk about everything kitchens. And we have a lot to unpack. Tom, again, do we touch on baths or you want to just stay on kitchens?
I think there's so much about kitchens now. It's evolved over the years that I think we could fill 2 hours with just a kitchen before we even moved. I mean, don't forget, when it comes to cabinets, there's bars, there's dens, there's offices, garages. There's so many touches with it when it comes to a cabinet, what we can use cabinets for, that we could do a whole nother episode on just the other parts of the house. But I think the kitchen is going to take up a lot of time today. There's a lot happening.
Oh my God, this it's going to be fun. So, Tom, tell me your background. How did you get to where you're at today?
Well, not the typical business owner. Didn't go to college, so I didn't take a business class. I went to Biller Square in 1986 and told them that I built a cabinet wood shop, so they put me in the kitchen department. I'm like, okay, I had no idea what it was. I was there for about a year. Then I went over to Baben Building Center and got in their kitchen department there. And 35 years later, here I am. I started Caruso Cabinets in 2001. It was nice though, because I took, when I was working for Baben, I felt we were such a big company, they lacked the personal aspect to it. They can still be forgot about the end user. It was about, process, getting the cabinets out the door, getting the windows out the door, getting the product out the door, that our clients were not getting the attention they deserved. I started my company based on servicing the client. What do they need? All the way to the end of the process, till move-in day, till putting their dishes away. What do they need? How can I help them get to where they need to be? And that's why I started my company.
So Caruso Cabinets is in Avon. It's in the Avon Commons. Why would I go to Caruso Cabinets instead of just going to Lowe's, Home Depot, or any other big box store that I could buy cabinets from?
You have time for this answer? There's a lot of
Sure,
reasons.
I do. Yes.
Number one, we're not more expensive. People automatically see us as a family-owned business, that we don't have the buying power of Home Depot or Lowe's. Because I buy from a family-owned company also that doesn't serve as a Home Depot or Lowe's, I have buying power. I work with a lot of builders. We spend a lot of money a year with these guys. So number one is we're not more expensive. Two, my people. I have people that work for me that have been designing kitchens for 25 to 35 years. I don't think you're going to find somebody with that kind of talent working at Home Depot and Lowe's. I'm not saying there aren't, but the chances of finding that person, when you walk in there to to sit down with somebody, the chances of that is a minimum. Anybody can draw a kitchen. One of the hardest parts about drawing the kitchen, the first hard part is ordering it correctly. There are so many things. Back in the day, you ordered a 36-inch base cabinet. You just put in 36-inch base cabinet. It came out. There's so many modifications I can do a 36-inch base cabinet that if I miss one modification, that cabinet's wrong. I can't even add it to it because there's certain things about it that you can't just add to it. It has to be done in the factory. The other thing is making sure it fits in the field. Making sure that when you're designing this kitchen, you have an understanding of how this kitchen is going to be installed. Everybody that's worked for me has installed kitchens. They've been on the job. They understand. So if a carpenter calls and says, I don't understand how you want me to do this, they can answer that question. And we build the trust with the installers. I don't think people at Home Depot and Lowe's are going to have that, or the big box places are going to have that skill level. And also communication with shipping. I own the shipping. So if you're working with me or anybody on my staff, it's me shipping your product. We know when it's going to go out. We know the person that's delivering those cabinets. He's the only person that touches those cabinets. So from start to finish, it's one of us always involved. If I'm not available, you can call my store and talk to somebody else that knows my product, knows my ability, knows where all my files are. You're not going to have that anywhere else. So we are worth it. Even if we are a little more expensive, we are worth it.
I just want to say that it was such an excellent answer, and you touched on some of the best points. And again, if I could back it up, I have seen jobs over the years with that come from Lowe's, come from Home Depot, come from you, come from any other cabinet company. It's night and day. They do not. They'll miss stuff, and even if it's a small fill. But I know from what I've seen that you've done on kitchens that it's, you're going to be, you'll come out and check it and make sure, okay, I can fix this. I'll have something here in 2 days, and it's done. Doesn't happen all the time because your designs are already set to order and come out and open up, let's install. The other thing I want to say is misconception. You sell cabinets and you do not install cabinets.
That's correct. My company is what we call design and distribute. We design your kitchen. We create every cabinet, every door style, every color that you're looking for. We create that. We have to order that kitchen to exact specifications, to not just what you asked for, but your appliance specifications. If you have a high-end appliance that needs a panel on it, a custom door and custom side panels, because it has to be exact to the fraction depth for a Sub-Zero refrigerator, not 24 inches, it's 24 and an eighth, so it fits just right, so the door is clean. Those are all things that a lot of people do not understand when they see a picture, the thought process it took to make that come together right the first time. That's the thing that people do not understand. When you walk into my store, you have people, they kind of walk in, and then when they sit down with us, especially if they've been somewhere else, it's great because they have a better understanding. These people know what they're doing.
Talk to me about countertops and what is in vogue today. What is the hot type of kitchen countertop? Because I know it has changed completely. Just think about way back when it was Formica and all you'd look at a chip and you're like, okay, I got to pick my color off this little teeny, either Wilson Art or Formica. Those are what we always work with. Mm-hmm. And then I remember it went to
Corian.
Thank you.
Remember Corian. If you had a Corian kitchen, you were rich.
You were
back
rich
in the 80s.
And that was a status symbol.
You got a Corian kitchen. That is crazy.
and you had the Corian kitchen, and then granite came in, and it was like some of it was like works of art when you saw really high-end class 5 and above granites. You had the standards, but it was just so refreshing to see stuff like that. And now what?
Quartz.
And that's a manufactured top, correct?
Let me tell you exactly what quartz tops are. I'm going to start with Cambria. Cambria is the biggest quartz in the U.S. because they're fabricated here in the U.S. I'm not pushing Cambria or anything like that. One of the things that they do, they're very specific on the quartz. They're 93% quartz, 7% pigment and resin. And they create a pattern that is their pattern, and it's beautiful because it's the color, the pattern goes all the way through the stone. Some only do patterns on top. If you can find a quartz with the color going all the way through stone, so when you look at the edge of it, the color carries through, and they compress that 1,000 pounds per square inch to create this block. And everybody does. Some people use a little more sand than quartz, glass and quartz. But I tell everybody that the pricing spectrum on quartz is you can spend $55 a square foot to $155 a square foot. Just because you spend $155 a square foot doesn't mean it's better. I tell you, 1,000 years from now, that quartz you spend $55 a square foot on, and the $155 is going to be buried somewhere still intact. It's not going to break up. It's not going to fall apart. It's not going to dissolve. Spend what's in your budget. Pick the color you like, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going to chip easier. There's nothing to it. You're paying for almost like a wooden cabinet. Cherry costs more than oak. Cherry's not better than oak. It just there's less of it. It costs more to work with, and that's the same with quartz. Cambria has some beautiful colors that they have patents on, and it's just great. It's to me, quartz is just a stunning product because you want purple on your countertops, they got it. You want gold in your countertops, blue in your countertops, matte black. There's all the different things you can do with it. So quartz is pretty much probably 90+% of my business because of the varying cost of it and the tones. You can put any cabinet down, cabinet color, whether you're doing gray cabinets, white cabinets, or black cabinets, or blue cabinets, you can find a quartz that's going to go with it. But you can't do it with granite, though. Granite's limited because of the natural product. It's like when I cut a log to build a cabinet, I don't know what the inside the grain is going to look like. Granite is the same thing. You can have a big block of granite, but until you start slicing that granite into slabs, you really don't know what the cement's going to look like. It could be a stunning piece of stone or and that means it's less expensive.
So 90% of new construction kitchens, they're going with quartz over granite.
And remodeling. Probably remodeling is closer to 100% because remodeling people have already had the granite. Most of these people have had granite and they're done with it and they want just a specific look. You know, they see pictures, they bring it in and they see this look of this clean, fresh kitchen and they go, this is the look I want. And you pull a quartz and go, that's it. And what's nice with quartz, you can pick quartz from a 12 by 12 because, and you know what that pattern is. That quartz is a repeat pattern.
Right.
Granite, you go back four slabs. You go back four slabs in the rack. And you say this is what I want, but by the time they cut your stone, it's four back. And it's a different pattern than what you're expecting. So there's a variant in granite also, but with quartz, the pattern is a pattern.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Going back to like what's the in colors, I think you touched on white, but can you elaborate more on I've heard that it's still white, but variations.
Yeah, my question is what tone of white? It comes down to a lot of people come in and go, I want white. Well, I start pulling all my white samples, and you have the stark white all the way to a muted white. More people are pulling into the muted whites, the warmer whites. The stark white is being pulled away because they want a softer look. They want something that's going to be able to move in and out of earth tones. Like a soft white or a muted white can live in a home that has earth tones, like a remodel, like there's stain in there still. It's got more earth tones throughout the house. You're not going to put a stark white kitchen in that house. You're going to do a muted white. Where even now it's even more popular is going into, like my kitchen is a taupey gray. I didn't go white. I did taupey gray. My brother just did his kitchen, and he went with beige. He was like, beige, that was been out of style. It's like, no, beige is making a comeback because it's got a warmer version of that white. It's going to sit more with the earth tones. We're seeing more woods too, accent pieces, white oak. People want texture in their island, floating shelves, accent pieces. So the grain in like white oak and hickory is real popular, being able to pull that out and add some texture to the kitchen. So when we're talking white, we're just sliding across the scale and moving warmer with it as time goes. We're seeing less of the stark white.
You just said something that I wanted to touch on. Here's something I see in newer kitchens, remodeled kitchens, is that open shelf. No cabinet. Mm-hmm. You'll have the countertop and then open shelves above in place of cabinets. Is that a trendy look? Because to me, I don't see the functionality of it, but I know it is so hot in a kitchen.
If you and Laura came into my showroom and said, Tom, I want to do open shelves on each side of my window, I want those look, my first question would be what are you going to put on it? And if you paused and kind of looked at each other, I would say, don't do it. I do those in model homes, displays and things like that, because that's what people are seeing. And you're seeing these pictures with the perfect canisters, all the same color and stacked neatly and everything. Most people don't have the ability to in their home because they have kids and, they have the cups that they picked up at Disney World, Cedar Point or whatever it is sitting that they need to hide behind cabinets. So I need cabinet space, especially by the sink. you need access to that easy to get to glass for water or whatever it may be. Um, there is a place in the kitchen, like we have a longer kitchen at the end. We want to do something like that, but not in the main part of the kitchen. I can make it look great and it's beautiful, but function, I'm going to agree with you on. I disagree with there's no function to that.
But yet they're very popular, and it's a look because you see it all the time, especially a lot of flips to it, and
Yes.
it's got to save money on the budget by doing
Sure.
something like that.
Hmm.
And if you can live that minimalistic lifestyle, I guess you can have it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, but we still need some storage, wall cabinet storage. We do a lot of, like you said, pantries that are taking up some of the space. We're doing some drawer cabinets with where the plates go in. We have storage racks for plates and drawers where everything is coming down low, but usually in a condo or a loft style home where the kitchen is in the middle, we don't have a lot of wall space. Then we'll talk about that. But floating shelves, I call it no.
I'm sure you've done this, but one of the most stunning kitchens that you can walk in and see, and it's just like, wow, I haven't seen anything like this, is either with accent or full blown black kitchens. Have you done any of those?
Yeah, I got one in Red Tail. It's a spec home. If you get a chance, go check it out. Sublot 579, all black cabinet. The island is white oak, a natural white oak. So the contrast between the black and that are stunning. Inside the glass door cabinets, I paneled the back of the cabinets in white oak with a light in it. So that when you turn the light on the cabinet, you see this black cabinet with a glass door, and the whole back of it is white oak. I love that look. Either satin bronze or satin gold pulls on that. Beautiful,
I
beautiful.
mean, it's so bold, and again, you look at it and you're like, oh my goodness. But I know a lot of people would be afraid to try something. I've seen it done, and it's so beautiful. And again, is it trendy or
Hmm.
going to be the new norm someday?
It's very trendy, definitely. Let me tell you a quick story. What happened? I had a job in Independence, higher end home. Lady was working with the decorator. Decorator sent me selections: perimeter kitchen black, island white. Okay, send everything out. Homeowner signs off and everything. Ship it. I get a call. Tom, the cabinets are the wrong color. I'm like, what? She said the perimeter is black and the island's white. It's supposed to be the other way around. And I'm panicking now, thinking, oh my God, pull out paper. It was signed off on that way. So I'm like, okay. And so she sends me a text the next day after all the cabinets are in and everything. She goes, this is the best mistake that could have happened. I love this kitchen. I love it. It is beautiful, Tom. I'm like, oh, it worked out, and I mean, it doesn't happen that way, but it was beautiful. She sent me pictures of it, and I was in love with it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen several lately, and even in some of the magazines that you see, it's just like, wow, that is, wow, so badass, so
Hmm.
badass.
Love it.
Um, are, and I'm going to date myself here, cherry cabinets, oak cabinets, just even fruit wood. You remember that color, whatever they
Oh
would
yeah.
call it, the pink cabinets,
Hmm.
gone or still options.
Cherry is such a minimal product for us now that it's pretty much out the door.
So that
Um,
was generational.
Generational. I mean, there are some older people that want a cherry kitchen, uh, our age, and but but oak is making a huge comeback. One of the things what I like about Wellborn, because Wellborn goes from log to cabinet, so they cut their own logs. So they cut their oak almost like a quarter sawn look. So they rotate a log and they double bandsaw cut it. So you have a very lineal grain. Remember the old cathedrals in the oak doors? You looked at
Oh
the door,
yeah.
it had the cathedrals in it. They used to take the log and they would gang saw cut it. They would run 5 blades down it, and the boards would fall. And that's how you had the big cathedrals in those doors. Well, when you rotate it, you're slicing this down to so all your grain is very lineal. So it's got a beautiful look to it. And that's when I was talking about texture earlier. People are pulling into that texture and adding that. So I'm doing more oak kitchens now than I have in the last 20 years. Maple
Really?
isn't as popular because maple has no, it's funny. You and I grew up with oak. Our kids grew up with maple. they're done with that soft blah look. They want texture. So people that are younger than us, and I'm starting to see it more in our age, that they're going back to that texture, the white oak, even a red oak with certain tones to it. Uh, I'm doing a condo project now that is all the kitchens are oak, like a
Wow.
rift cut or a coruscant oak, and it's beautiful, just beautiful.
Wow.
So cherry no.
I had no idea that oak was back, but
I'll
that's
show you some
interesting.
one time. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
show you
I
some
would
samples.
absolutely love to see that. Tom, I want to ask you another question. Talk to me about lighting today in a kitchen.
So lighting, LED is huge now. Remember the old halogen lights that you had to put gloves on to put in, and they would actually get so hot they would burn the cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, that's no more. LED lights. What's nice with LED light? You could put in one strip of light, and you could change the tone of it from 1200K to 4000K. 4000K meaning a stark bright white. 3000K is going to have a little warmer glow and working your way back, and you could just change that to the style of your cabinets. Your white cabinets aren't white enough. Click it up to 4000K. Boom, your cabinets are white. Uh, so you can do that under cabinet lighting, over top lighting, inside the cabinet. Like I have a cabinet in my house that I put the lighting on the inside of the frame. So I turn it on, it goes all the way up. So it's an even light top to bottom. I don't need glass shelves for the light to come in from the top and work its way all the way down, because it gets filtered by the time it gets to the bottom isn't as bright. But if I run the inside and go all the way up, it lights it top to bottom. It's an even light going back. That's why lighting today is incredible.
So let me say this. You came to my house and you
Hmm.
gave me suggestions of what I can do. I am now in the process of either doing my third kitchen or going to give my kitchen a facelift. You came in and the first thing you said was, you need to get rid of all those hi-hats that you see above you that are enclosed. I had
Hmm.
the old style of the regular
Recess light.
bulb,
Hmm.
recessed light, and you said, go get these lights, change them yourself. I did like 40 in my house. Unbelievable,
Life changing.
simple, inexpensive change that made the world of difference.
Yep.
And I have told everybody I list house to, want to spend $60 and change the look of your kitchen? Go buy these. You could do it yourself. And
Hmm.
it's amazing. What the light is so much better. The look, I get that. That's the clean line look
Hmm.
that you get.
Well, the light comes out sooner, so you're getting a
Yes.
fan out here, because
Yes.
before the light was so recessed, by the time it came out,
Yep.
it fanned out, and then you had these shadow lines in your cabinets. But with that light coming down flush, it gets out quicker. Huge difference. Huge
Huge.
difference in the kitchen.
Pendant lights. Are they still a thing or no?
Sure. One of the things I tell everybody with a pendant light is, back in the day, everybody got those balls with really cool colors on it. The
Uh
problem with
huh.
that is it pushed the light down. It was just a beam down. Today, I tell people, find a light that lets light all the way around. So it hits the ceiling, hits all the way around. By doing that, you're not going to have this dark spot above your ceiling, above your lights. It's going to be shadowed. With that light all the way around, it's going to feel like a bigger space. So if you have a pendant light that puts light off, it's a higher wattage and it hits the ceiling and all the way around, it's going to look beautiful. You push it down, it's going to look like a dark ball, and then you're going to have a circle on your island. And a circle on your island, let it all out and be everywhere. That's the best way to do it.
Good point. Okay, Tom. How about let's talk about in a home, is there a more important room than the kitchen? And I'm gonna read a quote. I don't know who said this, but I'll actually read a couple to you. A kitchen is both the soul and the nerve center of a home. It connects the family through cords of communication and cuisine. Think about that.
It is what it is. That's exactly the kitchen's a family room. Nobody comes over and sits on your couch. They pull up a stool, they pull up a chair, and they hang out. You're a big Italian family. I'm a big Italian family. Growing up in the kitchen, remember our kitchens were still so small, but we were all
So
in there.
small.
Everybody was still in there.
No,
And your
nothing fancy.
your grandparents say, "Get out." but no, everybody's in here. They had no room to cook, but we would still work they'd still be in that kitchen, and everybody's climbing over each other. Now we have these huge, expansive kitchens where everybody's just sitting around eating, drinking wine, and talking through the whole process. It's a gathering of cooking. It's just one experience to have, and having your kids in there with you and your grandkids and family and in-laws and everybody all in the same room that they look forward to coming to your kitchen because your kitchen is so inviting and you're cooking the best pasta, the best sauce, and everybody gets to be part of it. How can you beat that? There's nothing better than that.
There's not in my house any time I look out at my kitchen island and I am taken back and I can see three little boys having breakfast, eating chicken fingers, doing homework, coloring, making projects, carving pumpkins as little kids, blowing out candles. I have photos, and this is crazy. I went back and I started looking at photos. At my island, every single birthday of all my kids, my wife, and I, there's a yearly photo of each of our birthdays at that island. And I look at it, and I'm going, 26 years of photos for 5 people, all at that island. And it's amazing, but it's everything in a home. When I walk into a home and you smell, like, my kids love to cook. They'll cook. They're actually like all really, really good cooks. My oldest son Dante would cook unbelievable Italian meals, and the smells and the senses, or if you're having holidays or a house party that everybody gathers there, and the conversations that you have either at the table, at the island, or just, mingling in that room. But to your point, there's the way we live today and the way we grew up in these teeny little kitchens, but it still meant so much to us. It's just now it's so different, and it's so warm, it's so inviting, it's so memorable, it's so much sense going on with the food, the smell. It's the best part of a home, and it really is, in my opinion, it's the heart, the soul of the house.
Most important, when people are looking at a house, you'll know this more than anybody. What's the first place they walk to? The kitchen, to see what it looked like. Can I create the memories in this kitchen like you just described?
And again, you can do that in any kitchen because we're proof of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But do you remember growing up, like if your mom was cooking sauce on a Saturday or Sunday and you were going to have a big pasta Sunday dinner, all the work that would go into that, and the house would smell so good. You'd have the fresh smell of garlic and basil, and if they were doing meatballs, oh my gosh, I can go back there like that.
In a second. We're fortunate to have those memories. Very fortunate.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back to when we had the bourbon tasting party at your house. Where were we? And again, your layout is like exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's I don't have a dining room. I have a very nice dinette area. And so on one side of the dinette is my bourbon cabinet. The other side of my dinette is my kitchen. And so, yeah, and everybody just hung out there. Nobody sat in there. We were around the peninsula, the area there with the sink and all the bar stools there, and everybody just stayed within. There's 20 plus of us, and we were probably in a 15 by 15 area. I mean, everybody was just right there, and it was so great.
Right there.
I had such a great time having everybody there.
And again, any home gathering party you go to, graduation parties, birthday parties, it's right there.
Yep.
You don't need to be anywhere else.
Nope.
It's just where everybody automatically ends up. I've had house parties, and I'm not exaggerating, Halloween parties, 200 plus people. I've had, bars inside, outside, basement. if I look back at old pictures, there are 80 people in the kitchen around a little island, couldn't move, and
Yeah.
don't know why. There wasn't any alcohol in there. It's a kitchen. It's just where everybody's mind goes to,
Hmm.
and it's fascinating if you think about that, because I think everybody shares those memories.
What a great industry I'm in. It just keeps evolving, and people are willing to take my ideas and listen to me because they're excited about what it could be. What is this going to look like when I leave your house and I create a new design that you lived in your house for 20 years, and they're so excited to see what I could do to this kitchen. That's part of why I get up and do what I do. I don't see me ever. I'm 57 years old. I don't see me retiring. My kids ask when you going to retire. I hope I never retire. I love what I do. How lucky am I that I get up and get to do what I do and love what I do and work with my daughters. I think I've got the greatest job.
I would imagine that throughout the community over the years, you'll run into somebody that you did a kitchen for, and they got to come up to you and say, "Tom, we just want to tell you, we love our kitchen. Love our kitchen. Love what you did. Love your suggestions."
I have people that I met 10, 12 years ago that still come up and say that to me. And that they're still in love with their kitchen that long ago. And I love when I'm working with somebody and they're kind of hesitant. I said, look, I live and work in your communities. I shop at the same grocery store you do. I eat at the same restaurants you do. You're going to see me. I want you to be glad to see me, not angry to see me. I'm going to do my job. That's number one, it's my job. And I love my job. But I want you, when you see me, is to tell me you love your kitchen. You love your kitchen. In front of everybody I'm sitting with, say, Tom, I just want to come and tell you what a great job. That is the world to me. The world.
Think about this. I'll let you steal this, okay? Kitchens are made for bringing families together.
It's my new logo.
Happiness is homemade. Happiness is homemade, and again, it's the best. I and to this whole point, I don't think that you need a $150,000 kitchen to
No,
still have those memories. But
no, no.
do you have any tips for somebody that I'm just going to give a facelift to my kitchen? I don't have a big budget, but I don't want these dark oak cabinets. I want to do something. What can I do on a budget to make my kitchen?
Well, it depends how old it is. I have people come in that, they have a broken cabinet door and the kitchen's 25 years old. And they go, what can I do? I said, it's time for a new kitchen. And it doesn't have to be a new kitchen if everything is still working well. If it's construction, like I said, I have kitchens 25 years old. Still look great. They're out of style. And so what you're saying is, I don't need all the accessories. I'm okay with my kitchen layout and everything, where my appliances are. I just want to change the look. Paint them, paint them. And what's nice is oak right now painted adds texture to the paint, and that's a beautiful
I
look now. We're doing that
I
more
love
and
that
more.
look.
It's
It
it
grew on
adds
me.
texture. Yes, and everybody thinks they have to buy new doors. You don't have to buy new doors. The biggest thing about painting is finding somebody that has a skill and understanding of what they're doing with that paint. They buy the correct paint. They apply it correctly. It's sprayed, not rolled. There's things to it that have to be done because if not, it's going to peel off. It's going to peel off, and you're going to be disappointed. I've walked in many people's kitchens where they grab the same spot all the time, and that paint is peeling off. Uh, but you can create a beautiful look. Take a dark kitchen. Espresso was a big color about 10, 12 years ago. The dark maple, and people are just, I need to brighten my kitchen.
I have it
Paint
in my
them,
bathroom.
paint it. Yeah, we all did. Just paint it. Put a coat of paint on it. You don't have to change that door. Just paint that and a matte black hardware on it, or a satin bronze hardware on it. Change the dynamics of it. Easy as that. For your bathroom, you're going to have, new countertops, and that you're going to probably have $1,800, $2,000 because of the stone tops in the mount. But by the time you do cabinets and get all the new plumbing in that, you're going to be 5, 6, 7,000 just in getting new cabinets and stuff in there with all the labor.
Two things we didn't talk about, and hopefully you can touch on these fairly easy: hardware and backsplashes.
Hardware first. I like to vary the sizes of the hardware. Back in the day, we used to have 3-inch center poles. Every pole was 3 inches on center. What that means is from the center of the hole, where the screws go in the holder. Now we have all different sizes. By doing different sizes on a bigger door, bigger drawer, I can put a bigger pole on. Smaller drawer, smaller. So everything's proportioned to the size of the door or the drawer. Nothing is overwhelming or underwhelming that door or drawer front, and it gives a lot of I'm gonna call it smooth. It's gonna roll easier, some symmetry because everything just looks proportioned and fits. So when it comes to hardware, people go, "I'll just buy my own." I'm like, please, I'm not trying to sell you hardware. I want it to be done correctly because you could drop all this money on a kitchen and you put the wrong hardware on, you ruined it. So vary the sizes. That's number one when it comes to colors. There's so many cool colors out there. And I tell everybody one thing, just because you put stainless steel appliances on doesn't mean you have to put stainless steel poles on. That's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. Everybody gets caught up in that. I had a client years ago told me, I said, her name was Vivian. I said, Vivian, you have to pick your hardware. She said, Tom, not until the kitchen's done. I said, why? She goes, when I get dressed at night, I don't put my jewelry on, Tom, until I'm dressed. I said, Vivian, I can't argue that. I'll never forget that, Vivian. Thank you. And that was probably 8 years ago she said that to me, and I still remember it.
That's hilarious.
When it comes to backsplashes, I did a tile backsplash in my kitchen. My daughter and my two daughters and my brother just did. They did a full height splash. So the countertop and the splash are all the same. Looking at their kitchen, I love their kitchen more than mine because it is beautiful. I love that look. It's just clean. What's nice with a full height splash, me cooking my sauce, I have to tape paper towels behind it so the sauce doesn't splash and get in the grouts and stain it. With the quartz on the back, it's not porous, so it's clean. It's a beautiful look, just beautiful.
I want you to. I'm not sure I follow you on full. You call it full backsplash.
Yeah, full height splash. It's called
Full height splash. So what does
yeah.
that mean?
So you have your quartz thickness, your countertop thickness. Standard is 3 centimeters, which is about 1.25 inches. So then you take that same material and it's 2 cm, which is about 3/4 of an inch, and they use that to go up from the countertop to the bottom of the cabinet instead of
so
tile.
they're taking quartz instead of a backsplash. They're taking quartz. The whole is your backsplash.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha. And that's a great look.
Oh, I love that look. A lot of times, like mine, I held my cabinets back, put my metal hood in, and I left 3 inches on each side for the tile to go all the way behind it, and I took my tile all the way to the ceiling. That'd have been so beautiful if I did that same pattern course up my wall, and then I mount my hood over top of it. Beautiful look.
Waterfall Island.
Look great, function, no. What people don't understand, when you're sitting at an island, the people on the ends want to rotate out so they can see in. They could be function and part of the conversation. Waterfalls are like the old big legs. Remember the islands with the big legs? You're trapped between. You only can sit shoulder to shoulder going straight across. And it kind of, I call it landlock. But if you can rotate out and somebody's going to be sitting on the end of the island, you can have a conversation here and here instead of rotating all the way to have that conversation. They're engaged. It's more encompassing. Waterfall looks great. Love the look. But when you're talking about function in the past, it's very sterile. It's very kind of like you're boxed in. It's not a hangout island when you do that.
But it's a look. It's a look.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I could see an empty nester. I mean, empty nesters, no children. It's a great look.
Sure.
So I think we have absolutely killed it with this interview. I think you've added so much value.
Thank you.
I think you've taught me a lot.
You've had some great questions. Really, thank you. Thanks for coming to the table prepared. That means a lot.
No, well, thank you. Before we end this, I have to ask you. I would like to hear Tom Caruso's blueprint for both, if you don't mind, or you can just say one. I'd like to hear Tom Caruso's blueprint for business and for life. Or you could say, what is your blueprint of success? However is best to word this. I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, I think success, you have to fall down a bunch of times to really understand what success is, to appreciate success. I always thought when I got to a certain point, I'd be successful. that what I'm learning is doing what I do, and like I said, I love what I do, and I'm happy what I'm doing. Uh, that's success. I feel successful with that. My two daughters that work for me. What's more successful than that? But getting here was I call it you know going to hell and back once or twice, and learning what not to do. During the recession, we had our butts handed to us. It was insane difficult. I mean, it was a nightmare. I never gave up. I saw the future. I knew what I wanted my company to look like moving forward, financially, employees, the people, having the right people on, and it was time. It took a lot of time to get there, and now that I'm here, I couldn't ask for more. Uh, if I didn't have go through that recession when I did at that age, and it happened now, I would be out of business because I don't know if I would have that in me at my age to do that. Uh, but that gave me, at that age, I had the stamina, the power, uh, and I tried to keep the emotion out of it. I think that's the biggest thing. Is I kept the emotion out of my everyday by going to the gym every day and getting enough sleep. So when I woke up, I wasn't so fatigued. I wasn't emotional anymore. That helped. Uh, my blueprint is uh, do the right thing, take care of the people around you, take care of yourself. Number one, that's one thing I learned. I spent too much time taking care of everybody, didn't take care of myself for the longest time. When I started taking care of myself, I led by example, not just to my family, but to my workers also. They knew that when it's time to go home, go home. It'll be here tomorrow. You don't need to work 16-hour days. That'll wear you out and you'll become fatigued and you're going to start making mistakes, costly mistakes, and everything you worked hard for is now gone. Um, you know, Personal looks the same way though, doesn't it, Michael? I mean, we have to look at them both the same way. You look at your personal life the same way as your business life. Really, they're hand in hand. You know, I work with people I love. They're like my family, and I treat everybody that I work with like family, and they treat me the same way. I respect them, I love them, I respect them, and I wish for their success. What more could I ask for? You can't have a personal life, you can't have a business life without a personal life and have success. I think, why do I get up and do this? I can make enough money without a personal life, and then what do I do with that? And vice versa. I can't have a personal life if I can't afford to do anything. So, they're, to me, they're two in one. I look at them both the same because I can't have one without the other. I, I, I should say I can't have a successful personal life and a successful business life without having them both equally uh, enlightening to me, uh, just tied to me. When I go to bed at night, when I wake up in the morning, do I dread my day or do I look forward to my day? Even if it's on a Saturday or Sunday, do I look forward to my day as much as I look forward to a work day? Sure, I do. I truly do. So, the blueprint for, hand in hand success, one hand's personal, one hand's business. Some people would disagree with that, but to me, they're both equally important. They truly are.
Well, again, like my whole point of doing this is one, to educate people about my industry, but the other thing is really is it may sound cheesy. It's a deeper meaning, and you just touched on it beautifully. It's what's the blueprint for your life? What everybody's answering it differently, and that's what I love. And if this ever gets off the ground and people embrace it, which I'm shocked that I'm getting the feedback that I am, the point is what's your blueprint? And everybody should be something different. And I'm hoping in a year that I haven't given my blueprint yet. I've been putting my stuff down, but
Mm-hmm.
I plan on it. But I want to talk about how you and I met, because I think it is such a great story.
I just told
And
you the other day.
it's an amazing story. And if you think about it, I'm trying to think, how long have you and I known each other? And then how long have we been friends. It's crazy because please tell the
Well,
story.
first of all, the fact that we didn't know each other's last name for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You were just Michael and I was Tom. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were
Yeah,
friendly.
mm-hmm.
We chatted. I
All the
never
time.
talked about what you did. You never. It was
I
just
didn't know
a
what you
gym
did.
talk. It was just one of those things. But yeah, training at Westlake Rec for almost 2 years. Somebody comes up to me and goes, "Hey, aren't you the cabinet guy?" And I go, "Yeah, Tom." And he goes, "What's the name of the company?" I said, "Caruso Cabinets." You spin around and go, "You're Tom Caruso?" And I go,
Wait,
"Yeah." He
wait,
goes,
wait. I think the exact thing is I think I had like 120 pounds in each arm, and I was
"Okay, yeah."
yeah,
Everybody can
yeah.
picture
That
it now.
that's how it is. You
Exactly.
remember that now? Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And I had the
was
5 pound dumb. I had 5 pound
right,
dumbbells.
right, right. So go ahead.
And you spin around and goes, "You're Tom Caruso?" I said, "Yeah." And you go, "I've known your name for 20 years." And I said, "Who are you?" He goes, "Michael Della Vella." And I go, "I've known your name for 20 years." Because your cousin Anthony talked about you all the time when I was hanging out with him, and he did the same with you.
It's so funny is we were friendly, and then from that moment, it's just like we were kindred spirits.
Yep.
It's
I call it brothers from another mother.
yes, and again, think about how that took off with not just me, but with Pete and Craig and
Yep.
Gary and everybody else in that. Again, still that is the highlight of my day. Well, maybe
Yeah.
not. It's just I love.
I know what you
I
mean.
shouldn't say highlight. I love starting my day there, and I love talking with you. I love seeing you and your daughter. Love everything about that. Not only is it so good for us, and we for our age we I think we're beasts.
Nice. I agree with that. I agree.
I want to thank you. You're a amazing friend. This was so much fun. Tom, before we end this, how do people get a hold of Tom Caruso?
We are located inside the Avon Commons in Avon, and you can reach us on our office line 440-937-9363, or you can visit our website at carusocabinets.com.
So if people come in, they come to the showroom, is there any other places they can go in and see your designs?
Yes, like the model home I'm sitting at here for Koff Builders. They have two model homes here in Avon Lake. One in this one's Southport. It's a beautiful 3-story home, and then up the street on Walker Road is the Harbor's Landing. There's a smaller cluster community there that you can see us. Also, I have a beautiful showroom within Home Appliance on Jaycox Road in Avon. I have 25 kitchens that I designed uh, for specifically their displays. So you want to see a lot of different colors and styles on display there, go check that out too. They're on Jaycox, just north of Chester. Great stuff.
Wow, Tom, good stuff. Appreciate everything you did today, and thank you. And I will see you at the gym in the morning.
I'll be there. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure to follow us on social media at MDV The Blueprint on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We post a ton of great content. And please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast channel so you never miss out on an episode. Thanks again, and see you next time.